Alright, Lions, so in less than 12 hours time, we are going to be getting the first ever Magic Society banner featuring Asin, Jazelle, and also Asin. The banner is starting tomorrow, lasting until the 15th, and will feature these 12 characters at a 6% pull rate. In my opinion, before we even break down the individual characters, this is a banner worth summoning on. The 3 new characters are all great, they are also fan favorites, so you've likely already decided whether you are summoning on this banner or not, but I think the fillers in this banner is also doing a great selling point for the banner, as there is a lot of good characters that get here, and the oldest character in the banner is from late 2022. So in a way, especially with the new Senkamon update, every single character here is still worth using and has a use. But having a closer look at each individual character, first up we have Jazelle, a Mind Quincy Stammeter with the Soul Reaper Killer Plus ability. In terms of damage output, there's a lot going on here. Frenzy +2, with an 80% spiritual pressure boost, in which he does have an increased chance to inflict Dominate against any Soul Reaper. To go alongside that, you have an 80% Berserker, so strong attack damage increase, 100% more damage to dominated enemies, with an additional 30% more damage to any enemy that is inflicted with any status element, and this is a buff for herself but also your team if you are a Quincy character. To wrap it up too, she has an additional 20% strong attack damage that she can give to any Mind character. So what you are getting here is a character with an 80% spiritual pressure boost, Frenzy +2, with essentially a 100% Berserker and 130% more damage to any enemy that is dominated. With a very good strong attack kit, you can have a very powerful character when it comes to the melee Soul Reaper guild quest, but also of course any Soul Reaper Limit Breaker content. I'm not going to mention it for every character in this banner, but given her affiliation being a Stammeter, that means she's also going to be really good in any current and future upcoming Senkamon Quincy stages. Given that there are no skills tied behind certain game modes, you have an overall just very solid unit, especially with the fact that she also does have an EX skill that launches a wide range attack around her with a very high chance of inflicting Dominate Plus. This character overall is going to be very powerful in any content you put her against, besides epic raids, because unfortunately she cannot inflict Dominate in that particular game mode. Other than that though, you have a very solid character, especially in the Mind attribute that in my opinion desperately needs it. Asin though is a power Quincy Stammeter with the Captain Killer Plus ability. This character is designed to mainly be used in the range Captain Killer guild quest, but you can definitely take him outside of guild quest if you really like his gameplay. And like I said with Jazelle, he's going to have a place in Senkamon, as he is given Fry +2, more range damage and more killer effect in guild quests. And then to go with that, he has an 80% bruiser, but an additional 35% normal attack damage, so more additional bruiser coming from the soul trait. And that for the most part is higher than usual, especially with the fact that he also does do 40% more damage to paralyzed enemies, as he does have an increased status of enchant, and as you are technically supposed to use this character alongside Candace in guild quest, you're going to be paralyzing a lot of enemies and definitely taking advantage of that 40% damage to paralyzed enemies. His SA2 is a team boost, his SA3 is a debuff, so he's providing really good stats to himself and his team, while also letting himself and your team once more just deal overall more damage, especially when that SA3 is used. For the most part, he's a standard guild quest character for a week that maybe somewhat needs it. But I think he has a lot going for him, especially outside of guild quest. The team boost, the paralysis, the increased chance, the debuff. I think he's an overall solid character, and given the visuals this character does have, I feel like he is someone that you want to take out of guild quest and overall just have fun with, and I think you definitely can do that. If not though, there's still definitely a use for him, because again, as of right now when it comes to guild quest content, both Jazelle and Asin are the best in their respective guild quest phases. Jazelle right now is the best lead for the melee Soul Reaper guild quest, albeit not by much. Basby is very comparable. The difference, however, is that Jazelle will have an easier time completing the quest, given that she can stop the enemies from dealing damage to you and your teammates, while also buffing Grammy at the same time, the melee normal attack damage character for her phase. Asin again works well with Candace, but he is also easily the best normal attack damage character for that phase, so pulling him is going to make a pretty big difference in your range Captain Guild Quest scores. When it comes to Asin, he's a Technique Quincy Stammeter with the Soul Reaper and Aranka kill ability, so he hasn't been given a Killer Plus ability, but he does have 2 killers, which makes him maybe stand out a tad bit more for that less difficult content like guild quests. This character's main purpose in all honesty is to be used to farm droplets, links or potions, and super links or potions. By using him, you're getting 30% more droplets, 5 more links or potions, and 10 more super links or potions. If you overall need that, he's going to be a good and useful character to have. However, Link's farming is not the only thing he has going for him. He has actually a good set of skills here. Frenzy +2 with a 40% Berserker and 80% Spiritual Pressure boost with an increased styles damage chance against any speed enemy. Alongside that, he has 2 enemies defeated bonuses, where after defeating 20 enemies, he gets 20% more strong attack damage, and after defeating 40 enemies, he gets an additional 20% strong attack damage that he does give to your entire team. With complete status immunity, he's overall going to be a solid character in Senkamon content, in Link Shot Trials, and likely also Epic Raids where he is a bonus. He does lack a good strong attack kit though, so I don't think he's going to be the smoothest character to play, but for what he wants to be used in, he's honestly going to be perfectly fine. However, it might be worth mentioning that this character, while not entirely designed for guild quests, might be a secondary option for those that don't own the recent 1000-year Blood with Jazelle, and also the recent Zombie Bambietta. Right now, these two characters are the go-to for their respective guild quest phases, and if you don't have those characters, it's going to be a lot more difficult, as your next best option is going to be 7th Anniversary Ichigo, who's coming up to 3 years old. So Asin is a character that in a way you can use in both guild quest phases. He's not a guild quest character by any means. He's not going to clear those guild quests super fast, but he definitely will help if you do not have Bambietta or Jazelle, and if you don't really have a worked on 7th Anniversary Ichigo. So I'd say he's a budget character for guild quests, and for a Link's farmer, I don't think that's entirely a bad thing. When it comes to the other characters in this banner, the standouts to me personally are the top row. Tanjiro and Uetsu are featured for the very first time, even though they were released after the 9th anniversary. Swimsuit Bambis, in my opinion, still hold up relatively well. It's now their second time returning as fillers, and the Mininya I still think is pretty decent in Brave battles. And the bottom row characters aren't even like that bad, and once more had their use in Senkamon content. But Uetsu's going to be one of the standout fillers here, one of the more fun characters released in the year of 2024, mainly due to how he was designed going against the status element meta, as this character was given Frenzy +2, 100% more damage to enemies that aren't inflicted with a status element, but he was also given a gauge effect that further increases his damage output. Because upon maxing out that gauge for 10 seconds, you get an additional Frenzy +1, so Frenzy free overall, and an additional 100% Berserker, strong attack damage. So despite this character not being able to inflict any status ailments, he hits very hard. And I think in the entire speed attribute, he is the most fun and best speed character to use. For someone as cool as Uetsu, this is the perfect character. He's used constantly in Limit Breaker, can be used in the more difficult stages of Senkamon, and of course also can be used to clear very fast and consistently, by the way, in the immediate no affiliation guild quests. A great character to have and very cool to see him featured in this particular banner. Same can be said for Tanjiro. Now Tanjiro serves the very same purpose as a character like Esno in this banner, as you want to use him in the ranged Human Killer Guild quest to boost your team stats. And in the ranged Human Killer Guild quest, he's the best normal attack damage character, and a very good one at that, as he does have a very good damage output. However, this character is one of the must-have guild quest characters if you do care about your scores, due to the buffs he can give to Soripas. For starters, like I mentioned, his SA2 is a 43% attack, focus, and defense increase. That's not all, because he can also heal your team with his SA2 and also SA3, while also potentially occasionally applying paralysis, making the boss not deal any damage to you for around 8 or so seconds, giving you free reign to deal a lot of damage. And that's worth noting because a lot of characters nowadays have status element plus, so your mains in guild quest will still be inflicting their status elements like normal, and every now and then the enemy just might stop in place when Tanjiro get the status proc. But the best part about all that with the team boost is that he also does have a 30% damage buff that he does give to any Soripa when they are attacking an enemy that is inflicted with a status element. So in a way, you can look at this character as a 9th anniversary Grammy for Soripas. Grammy is used in guild quests all the time whenever you are using a Quincy, and the same is said for this character. Whenever you're using Soripas in guild quests and you want to make them stronger, you want to throw Tanjiro on the team. He's a character you use not only in the Human Killer Guild quest, you use him almost every week if you can, and with that, despite him being a guild quest character, he has the most use out of any guild quest character in this game. So he's a high valued character in my opinion, and it's again great to see him as a filler. For the other fillers, we have the Swimsuit Bambis. First up, we have Bambietta. She is a character that is designed for the guild quest game modes, as she does get Frenzy +3 in guild quests, but at the same time, on her release, she was the Limit Breaker character of the month, so with that, she's also very good in normal content. She has Frenzy +2, an 80% spiritual pressure boost, an increased status and chance, and a pretty good berserker value. She has an overall good strong attack hit, and her stat summons are also worth noting because she does have paralysis and also lacerate. In Guild Quest content, it stops the enemy in place. In content like Limit Breaker, being able to stop the poised enemies and also deal millions of damage from that lacerate is actually quite noteworthy, and she's overall just a very smooth character to play. She does have one unique thing about her, as when you do get a certain number of kills, she will give everyone a killer effect increase, which makes her good in team-based content, again once more like Limit Breaker and also Guild Quests. For the melee Aaroniero Guild Quest, she right now is the best lead, as you can pair her very well with Esno and get a very good combo going on with both of those characters. In a way, you don't need her if you own Esno, the one that released at the start of the year, but because they can work together, I think having both is actually noteworthy, and that's something I want to do, so I do hope I get her during my summons tomorrow. Candice is another normal attack damage character very similar to Esno and also Tenjiro. In her case, she doesn't do anything super unique, she's just there to do normal attack damage with a team boost. Given her killer range type combination being a ranged stun rater killer, she is quite noteworthy as there aren't that many good ranged stun rater killers. If you don't have her, I think you're going to struggle a tad bit in that Guild Quest phase, so she's definitely right now one of those must-have Guild Quest characters in my opinion, but only when it comes to the ranged stun rater Guild Quests. Meninia is just a simple Linkswap farmer, use her to get more Linkswap potions and also more Super Linkswap potions. She does offer 5 heart Super Linkswap potions through a soul trait, so she can always be useful during those 100 million download co-op quests that are going on right now, where you can get potions just by playing it. She has an overall good damage output for content like Sankamon, so you can use it in some of the easier stages. The other Meninia is just a brave battle character. The main thing about it is that she does have Flurry +3, Invincibility, Ignore Invincibility, and also Persistence. So when she is defeated, unless against Mila Rose, she will revive and become invincible for 5 more seconds. I still think she's an overall solid brave battle character, not the best team by any means, and has in a way been countered by Mila Rose like any other character. But if you're looking for a filler spot, she has that spot going for her. Choshiro is another character similar to Candice, Esno, and also Tenjiro. He's a normal attack damage character for the immediate Captain Guild Quest. Pairs very well with the best lead, that being Senjumaru. If you want to have an easier time beating that Guild Quest phase, this character is worth picking up. Yamamoto is a Brave Battle character designed to counter Yuha Box. So if you see Yuha Box in Brave Battles, I guess he's worth taking out. But there's been a lot of new Brave Battle characters that just kind of make him a bit redundant. But he does have some usage in Senkamon, so get a use out of him there. And then Ichigo is kind of just an all-around decent character, doesn't have anything exceptional about him, but he is still a very fun and solid character to use, especially as a new player. So like I said, overall very good filler pool. There's only like 2 bad characters to a certain extent in this selection, and that's Ichigo and also Yama. Like every character here is still used in content, and like these 2 characters aren't even too bad. More so Ichigo, he just doesn't excel in any particular piece of content, but they're overall very solid characters. So you have 3 really good new characters coming out with a good filler pool, and when it comes to the step up format itself, it's a 5-star every 5 steps. And on step 25, you do get a guaranteed 5-star. After that, you can repeat the process and go all the way to step 50, where you get another selector ticket. Do that if you really want to. I don't recommend ever going past step 25. I've done it myself. It's honestly not worth it. Just do 25 steps if you're really adamant on going that far, and take what you get. I think in general though, this is a banner definitely worth summoning on. The value in my opinion is just really good, and the characters themselves look great. In my opinion, there's almost no reason not to summon, but how deep you go really comes down to how much you want the characters and how much you value the filler pool. While I do think this is a banner that's worth summoning on, at the same time, if you do want to skip it, that's perfectly fine. The new characters in particular do have replacements. Now they aren't the better versions. You know, Jazelle and Esna are the best characters for their Guild Quest phase. Asin is a really good Linkster farmer, but other characters exist that already do that, so it does lessen the need to pull for them if you're already comfortable with your particular team. The anniversary though is coming out in July 23rd in particular, so for me this will likely be one of the last banners I summon on, as I then continue to save for the upcoming 10th anniversary. So if you are someone that wants to save for the anniversary but have plenty of orbs to spare, maybe throw 5 to 10 steps, limit yourself even, because I think the filler pool is a bit too good to miss out on. I would definitely recommend doing the discounts, even if you are really in 100% save mode for the anniversary. I guess some noteworthy banners coming up in case you aren't aware. June end of month is going to feature swimsuit characters. So if you are interested in what that potentially could be, definitely want to save for that. And then June mid-month likely will be the anniversary countdown banner. And we already know in advance that we are going to potentially get a stream for that. So all eyes are on June mid-month to be a potential special banner. Who will those characters be? We're going to find out eventually. So you might want to have some orbs for that. So despite this being a really good banner, there's also, again, more big banners coming up. So maybe don't go down to 0, but I think it's a banner worth summoning on. For me, I'm planning to do at least 15 steps. And if I was a new player player, I would also at the bare minimum do 10 steps. But if you are a veteran that can already clear their respective guild quest phases, have already maxed out your characters, and have majority of the filler pool, I can understand why you might want to skip and save for that upcoming anniversary banner. In the comments below though, let me know your summer plan, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.